Sahil has over 10 years of corporate experience and he's worked with HCL, Infosys and Genpact in his past roles. What he calls his fat to fit journey, Sahil realized that habit building and lifestyle augmentation is central to long-term fitness, a learning that was foundational to Fitelo's birth in 2018. Please welcome him with a huge round of applause. Sahil, Bansal, please. Then we have Vikram Jain, founder of Fitelo, founder of a fashion company founded in 2021. They are into stockings and shoes for women and socks for men. They are also going to launch a line of imitation jewelry. A very young, dynamic entrepreneur with background of vice president at HSBC, and he had a stint of 5 years. He did his post-graduation from ISB in 2014, and I would like to welcome him on stage with a huge round of applause, please. Welcome, Vikram. I have a very young, dynamic entrepreneur, Kiranjot Kaur, who has been working in the industry since 2009. Kiranjot started as an analyst at the Department of Social Services before moving to the US. In 2013, she joined as a senior BI analyst and moved to Axis in 2015. She has done a number of stints, but most recently, she's the head of outreach at Neemans Shoes since 2016. Neemans is a sustainable footwear brand, and I think this journey of Neemans is very interesting, and I would leave it to Kiranjot to share more about it. Please welcome her with a huge round of applause. And then last but not the least, moderator of the session, Mr. Ganesh is CEO and co-founder at FINOFII, India's first treasury management for startups and MSMEs. And why we are very proud, because again, success story from the region. And lately, yesterday only, he received STPI Startup of the Year award. So I think he deserves a huge round of applause. Ganesh, stage is all yours. Please go ahead.
Hi, good evening all of you. Thank you very much, and I think before we start and discuss the topic which has been given to us, I think I would like to thank Ty for giving this opportunity to me to ask some intelligent questions to the more intelligent people who are sitting in front of me. Right, so I will try and ask some of the very questions which are much more relatable to people sitting over here, right? So okay, so I think introduction is something which we all can start. So we can probably go with you. You can just tell a bit about yourself, and then so that people could actually know who exactly you are, right?
Sure.
So yeah, please.
Yeah. Hello everyone, I am Kiran, and I'm the founding member of Neemans, which is India's first fastest growing sustainable footwear brand. The journey started back in 2016 when we were on a trip to Spain, and we almost missed our train because Taran is crazy about shoes, and he had a pair of formal shoe, running shoe, comfortable shoe, and with a 8-month-old baby, we were like, Taran, why can't you have a single pair of shoe which can be used all day long? And that's when we came back to US after a trip, we decided to do something about it, and we started our journey of Neemans, and we launched it in 2018 in India. And we work with different sustainable and renewable resources and make comfortable shoes out of it which can be worn all day long.
So first of all, I'd like to thank Ty Chandigarh for this wonderful opportunity. It's a real honor to be here, and especially in the company of such esteemed guests. It's a very strange feeling when you're on this side of the table, because this is my third TyCon and I've always been on that side. So so it's I guess it's kind of special. About theatre, so the story of theatre actually starts with my co-founders, Sarthak and Shruti. These guys, have, I think they were on one of their vacations in Europe when they had some really inspired ideas about Western fashion. We've been friends since some 17, 18 years. So when he got back, Sarthak reached out. My family has a background in the industry. So I got my brother involved, who manages the family business. And the four of us just sort of, started talking about this, started doing this. We felt that there's been an entire generation of 70s and 80s of incredible Western fashion, which is timeless even today, that somehow India seems to have missed out on. And we all felt that there's a very strong undercurrent of elite Western fashion that sort of drives the growing India story. And we thought that that's something that we'd like to do something in. That's kind of how theatre started.
Thanks. Thanks for having me here. Fitelo is a Chandigarh story and we're proud about it. 4 years old now, but we started off when we realized fitness and health as a space. While every day there is a new brand coming up, no one is actually solving the problem to the core. So we said, and we will try to solve it. And we've been fortunate to actually go deeper into the problem and trying to find the answer. We've grown fast. Today, Fitelo is about 800 people strong and growing very fast. I think we are one of the biggest platforms to handle obesity today in the country, and we continue to grow. I think this topic is important because one of the reasons we've been able to grow so fast is our understanding of the customer, and being the customer ourselves for so long has helped us.
Great. So I think great story, guys, all of you. So probably we will थोड़ा सा हिंदी मिक्स करते हैं, ज़्यादा हो रहा था इंग्लिश. So Kiran, probably I would ask, थोड़ा निकल जाता naturally. Please excuse me. So Kiran, just to probably start, what exactly is this customer centered innovation? How do you define it? So what's your take on it? How do you define it?
Okay. So, when we were researching about the footwear market in India, there were multiple pain points. One is always a problem with comfort, where people really want to remove their shoes as soon as they can. Second was the odor, where your feet stinks all the time and you cannot wear anything without socks. And the third was India is a very price sensitive market. So, and on top of that, we were trying to incorporate sustainability because nobody was doing back until 2018 when we started it. So when we saw all these pain points, we wanted to bring everything to the table together for our customers. And we are proud to say that we have eliminated everything, all the 4 main pain points, and we are proud owners of Homegrown brand, which is Indian footwear brand who is proudly selling made in India products which are odor free, sock free, super comfortable and can be worn all day long with your different attires.
Great.
Yeah.
So Vikram, what's your thought? ISB में हिंदी पढ़ाते थे कि नहीं? थोड़ा हिंदी में करते हैं बात.
Luckily for me, no. So customer centered innovation के बारे में जब मैं सोचता हूँ, I think there's primarily 2 dimensions to it. I think one is just having good feedback loops with your customer to really be able to understand their needs and to be able to serve them, to fulfill those needs, to create products that solve for those specific things. This is something that involves structure and customer feedback loops and product development, etc., etc. I think the second and slightly more tricky dimension to this is to be able to figure out what the customer doesn't even know that they need. To be able to think creatively, think out of the box, and not rely on the customer's feedback for your product development, but be driven by a vision, be driven by sort of deep understanding of your own craft, and and develop something that when you put in front of the customer, it's that point when they realize that's when they need it. This involves, like I said, less structure, a lot of like non-obvious creativity, and I think at theatre these are the 2 sort of dimensions on which we think of customer customer-centered innovation, and I think the way we started, the first category that we got into, which was stockings, which was something that almost nobody was doing in India, especially nobody doing it online, doing it well, and just with great products. I think that was born out of the second dimension of customer-centered innovation, the way we think about it.
Great, interesting facts. So, Sahil, your thought on this?
I think Vikram has covered it well. It's meeting the said and the unsaid needs. And unsaid needs are often reading between the lines. So the way we, for example, do at Fitelo, while the customer would say, we want to know what you are doing with our plans, the meal plans, the exercise plans, the science behind it, but they hate, for example, calorie counting. They don't have the time, or they will not do it. They just don't have the time. So trying to balance everything at our end while making it very simple for them and scientific, because they want scientific solutions. So that is customer first. I think that is customer centricity. Yeah.
So great perspective from all three of you. So Kiran, I have a question for you specifically now. Problem समझ में आ गया, customer की requirement समझ में आ गई है ना, insight भी आपको समझ में आ गया. So how do you basically gather, and prioritize customer से जो data लिया? How do you prioritize that this is something like your shoes, like you said, one shoe for all your this thing. Right. Order was another challenge. So how do you prioritize कि पहले सबसे पहले मुझे कौन सा problem को solve करना है?
So जब हम लोग एक शू बनाना शुरू करते हैं, right? So there's a life cycle of a shoe from production to like actually handing it over to the customer. So every step of the life cycle of the shoe, we try to take feedback from our organic customers. We make sure हम लोग अपने customers को वो samples भेजते हैं कि आप try करो और हमको real feedback दो, so that within that life cycle we can incorporate those feedback rather than at the end when we are ready to sell to our customers. So that just helps to grow and improvise easily and then without taking much risk. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so now probably to both of you gentlemen. Now customer might want a fighter aircraft, right? And you might be in the business of probably making a Boeing, right? So how do you kind of decide that the needs and wants of the customer is as per the financial planning or the actual plans which you have really made, right? Because I'm sure Boeing and fighter will cost something different. So how do you guys work on it?
I think priorities change with the scale of the company. So when we were, for example, starting out, whole sole intention was customer के हाथ में product दे दो. We knew it was 5 on 10, but actually we wanted to find the customers जिनकी ये problem हम meet कर पा रहे हैं. We wanted to gather feedback and we wanted to improve the product. So met someone just today, right? They were trying to perfect a product, 6 महीने और लगेंगे types. And when you start out, right, you have to the way you think about the customer. Probably the customer is not thinking the same way about that same problem. So it is important. Time is of the essence when you especially start up. When you scale, we are in the growth phase right now, for example. अब चीज़ें थोड़ी different हैं. Now we cannot say करते हैं सब कुछ करके देखते हैं customer के हाथ में दे दो. Now I think we have to understand what our priorities are. So and then there are things that we, for example, metrics that we use to at least try to assess whether, for example, this the additional thing that we are doing will solve the existing set of customers' problems, or will they solve additional problem for them, and hence give a financial benefit to the company also. That is how we think about problems right now. अब हम fighter jet नहीं बनाएंगे, right? So now we will think about इस Boeing में और क्या कर सकते हैं. तो जो इस plane में customer आ रहे हैं, right? How do we make lives even better for them, and then try to get similar customers. And probably when you reach an even bigger scale, then you would want to do everything.
Great, Vikram.
Yeah, I agree completely with what Sahil is saying. I think it's in huge part a function of the scale that you're at. When you start a business, you're sort of going from 0 to 1, and then there's a 1 to 10 journey, and I think that, and then there's a 10 to 100, and so on and so forth, right? I think that when you're starting something out, especially in the first two phases of this journey, 0 to 1 and 1 to 2, 1 to 10, financial goals are not exactly your priority. I think your priority is to be able to solve customer needs effectively. Just being able to sort of get the product market fit right, if you will. And I think financial goals and what you achieve in terms of numbers, they're sort of a byproduct of that, right? Specifically talk about financial goals, I think that's a luxury that you sort of get to at a slightly later point in your journey, beyond the 1 to 10 and that part.
Yeah, great. So you're running a company from last 2 years approximately. I've learned one thing, that during the whole process which we are talking, fighter dena, jahaz dena, kya dena, you get so emotionally, invested into your idea or your thought of that idea, that sometimes people come and gives you that shock. Boss, मेरे को ये नहीं चाहिए था, तुम गलत दे रहे हो मेरे को. So that kind of feedback also come. I'm sure you must have got that kind of feedback. So probably I will ask to you first that any such sort of thing which has happened with you and you said, हाँ यार बात तो सही बोल रहा है. Yeah, probably this guy is mad यार. I have been doing this day in day out from last probably 5 years or probably 4 years, and he is telling me how to do it. Sometimes you might feel. So anything which has happened with you?
Yeah. So initially जब we were building, we were focusing on ये नया मटेरियल लाते हैं, ये नया मटेरियल लाते हैं, बट एक पॉइंट के बाद ये समझ आया कि यस, पीपल गेट एक्साइटेड अबाउट मटेरियल, बट एट द सेम टाइम दे लाइक वेराइटी कहाँ है. सो वेराइटी बनाने के लिए यू नीड more products. Correct. Because after one point when you need repeated customers, they need to see something new all the time. Just materials don't help. So that's when we understood that okay, we have to be more product centric than the new innovation, like product क्या बोलते हैं उसको, material centric brand. So that's when we focused on building more products so that they can see the variety.
But did you feel bad when you said कि नहीं?
ठीक है, we have to balance.
Okay,
but then these kind of feedbacks and reviews are really helpful. Really helpful. Yeah.
Vikram, your thought, because
actually it's a very interesting question, because this is a question for which there's no easy answer. Because supposing you start out a company, you have a certain vision in mind, you want to create a certain product. पहली बात तो उस product को बनाने में ही आपका काफी बैंड बच जाता है, because you're never able to do 100% of what you want to do, right? But you're there like some 85-90%, and then you're like, okay, let's launch and let's see. And then you start getting feedback, and feedback is usually not one dimensional or one directional, right? There'll be people who like it, there'll be people who hate it. So at what point do once, is it 10 customers who didn't like your product? Is it 50 customers? Is it 100 customers who didn't like your product, that you decide that you need to just now maybe pivot? That it's not so easy to decipher. So ये बहुत अच्छा सवाल है. And unfortunately, I don't have an easy answer for this. It's something that you only do when you're in it, like you only learn when you're in it, and you sort of have to decide, because there's a lot of variables. It's also a function of what is your creative ability that you can bring to the table, right? And even if you start listening to the customer, it's not that your sales will necessarily increase. It's just that maybe you start solving for a different set of customers than what you were solving for earlier. So it's an alchemy of a number of things that needs to come together, and somewhere along the line you sort of hope that you hit product market fit, and then you can scale.
Great. So Sahil, so we all understand that what COVID has done to the technology, right? We are at least preponed technology by 4-5 years. This is what everybody is saying, right? So I would like to believe what they're saying is right. Being from technology background, and the topic which you are discussing right now, customer-centric innovation, right? So do you really think that technology has helped us? Does technology has a crucial role to play in this specific aspect?
Answer is yes, but ये बहुत tricky है. It's a double-edged sword. I think for platform-first companies, D2C brands, for startups, right? ऐसा लगता है कि app बनेगी, platform बनेगा, तभी कुछ हो पाएगा. ऐसा नहीं है. I think to find your first few customers, people feel, right, generally हमें best tech team चाहिए तभी हो पाएगा. That is where people get trapped, because tech is expensive also. So to get your first few customers, you don't need actually anything. you need to find a channel जहाँ पे वो आपकी आवाज़ सुन रहे हैं. Generally it is social media today, right? So to that extent, I think you have to find that PMF बोलते हैं, right? PMF ढूंढना है, but at the same time technology has a huge role to play. So for example, once you've established or found your PMF and you've started growing, customers are loving your product, you can keep getting better. So for example at Fitelo, now we've been able to build algorithms. We have 500 coaches on the platform. After understanding a client's lifestyle and journey and goals, our algorithms can sort of assign the best coach to them. Right? It's an algorithm built. Now we are using machine learning algorithms. We are building some of these algorithms as we speak to get the best plans to the customers, right? So once you have the ability, that is when you should invest. I think earlier the first plans that we published were on PPT slides. So it is like that. So we said very conscious. We will try to find what customers are loving. Generally, customers just don't love the tech, right? It is the product or the service. So you have to find that and then start investing in tech. Tech actually can play a big role eventually. Yes.
I'm sure because we have already seen the kind of valuation tech brings on the table, right? So not sure if it helps or not, but yeah, it brings valuation. Great. So probably my next sort of question to you, so सब कुछ आ गया, feedback आ गया, innovation आ गया, you have done customer-centered innovation also. Now, but how do you measure the success of it? Because it might happen that probably yes, you got the innovation which the client wanted, you got the sales also, but somehow your unit matrix is not working, right? So that's not a profitable model to work with, right? So everything comes at a cost, right? So how do you guys see the success of this customer-centric innovation which you have done? Yeah.
See, success will only come when we have Har Ghar Mein Neemans.
Oh,
that's
nice.
our end goal.
Great tagline actually.
Yes. So that's what we are working on. So we are testing few other areas. So initially we were completely online. फिर हमने देखा कि online से the customer acquisition cost was getting higher and higher. So we tried moving to our offline stores and LFRs, large format stores, to test the waters, and it has really been working well for us. We just recently opened 3 stores, 1 in Hyderabad and 2 in Mumbai, and in the works in Bangalore. And plus, the other thing is our material innovation has really helped. Like we made shoes with recycled plastic bottles. Nobody has ever done it in India. And initially the other challenge was pre-COVID, that everything was sourcing from across the globe. But all thanks to COVID that we brought everything in-house, and we have reduced that kind of production cycle because now things are more under our control and less risk involved. And of course, the costing is also cheaper. So that has helped us to innovate more and bring more new things to the table for our customers. Yes.
Great. So what would you, Vikram, any thoughts on this?
So measuring success of the innovation that you're bringing to the table, I think in our industry is actually fairly straightforward. I think at the end of the day, the numbers sort of speak for themselves. Either you're doing well or you're not. The feedback from the market is extremely quick. So that's there. But you do need to be sort of cognizant of the nature of the industry in which you're in, right? So fashion, for example, which is our industry, is not a winner takes all industry, right? It might be like worth billions of dollars, but there's hardly going to be one person who captures 60, 70, 80% of it, right? It's always going to be fragmented because it's not an industry that sort of, is oriented towards uniformity. It thrives on the diversity of fashion expression. So your targets and what numbers determine success for you are something that you have to define for yourself, right? I think if you hold yourself to those measures, then to those sort of standards, then I think it's fairly easy to measure. Yeah.
Great. So Sahil, this question probably I will ask to you that. So this customer-centered innovation, I believe this is a culture which probably you'll have to, bring it into the DNA of everyone, working for the larger goal. and that. So, but how do you create it? Do you find it difficult? That daily rut, or probably that daily muffin which you need to put into everybody's veins to work on this single agenda, single goal of solving customer issues.
नहीं ऐसा नहीं है. I don't think so.
As a
So since day one, we've been obsessed with the customer. I think हमारे लिए बड़ी कॉमन रही है ये बात कि अगर if the customer is not feeling happy, we have to do something about it.
Right.
How do you make them happier? Right? These kind of conversations from the time we were 2 to today, where we are 800 plus. Right? Almost everyone. So sales के लिए obvious है, coaches के लिए obvious है to talk to customers. We have our tech teams, our HR teams, the leadership team. I talk to some customers every month. So and building that culture is not, I will say, a specific task. It's a day-to-day thing. So हमारे लिए customer issues are a board meeting का agenda. So while we talk about growth, I think we focus a lot on retention, repeat purchase कितना हो रहा है, NPS कितना हो रहा है, right? All of these things, and that is a measure of how the customers are feeling. And for us, I think it is very important at every layer. So versus saying कि ये बात ही नहीं करेंगे, we are very conscious about it. I am very conscious कि हर रोज बात करेंगे. Yeah, and then that is how the culture is built.
So probably this next question, I will start with you only because you're holding the mic. So, challenges. I'm sure you got the customer-centered innovation and everything is there. You understood this is what they're looking for, and but any specific challenge which you feel that when you have to implement those thoughts, I'm sure there must be challenges, right? But what kind of one or two aspects which you really see how you really should overcome those challenges? So any specific thought on that?
Yeah, I will reflect on what Shantanu said earlier in the day, right? They had 250 plus SKUs. You were saying, right, lost a lot of products,
Yeah.
but eventually then went back and reduced it. So as you scale, it is very important to keep understanding your customer. So आपके customers एकदम से बढ़ने शुरू हो जाएंगे, and your understanding of the customer will go down. How do you stay focused? And there have been many opportunities. For example, we do obesity के लिए solutions, right? We provide those solutions where we say हम wellness health के ऊपर काम करेंगे, and we get a lot of clients, prospective clients, diabetes के लिए help चाहिए, PCOS के लिए help चाहिए, thyroid के लिए help चाहिए. We have the platform, we can do it. We do it, but we are very conscious in our messaging in saying what Fitelo should stand for. And it is very easy to generalize things. एक बार आप generalize कर देते हो, people don't know what you stand for. So at every point, and when there are more people on the table, right? There are investors, there are other stakeholders. You will be pushed in every direction कि ये भी करते हैं, वो भी करते हैं. So how do you stay true to your that customer, right? And keep that understanding. I think that is the biggest challenge that someone can face.
No, I must tell you, it's very well explained now, because I think we all have faced these kind of issues. Probably, Vikram, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more with what Sahil has just said. I think he's articulated it quite well. Over and above that, I think the single biggest challenge that we feel that we face, and this I understand is obviously a function of the scale at which we're at, which is fairly small right now, is how do you sort of bridge the gap between the vision that you have in terms of your products and what you want to do and what the market really expects, right? That's a gap that as a strategy is also something that we're trying to play on. We are trying to identify white spaces and convert them into opportunities. We've seen some success with that, but it hasn't always been easy. So I think that's pretty much the biggest challenge that we face. How do we overcome it? We're still trying.
Okay. So your thoughts?
पहले तो मैं ये बोलूँगी चैलेंज नहीं है तो काम करने का मज़ा ही नहीं है, राइट? And as Sahil said, it's completely apt, but at the same time, yes, we have to be true to our vision, true to our brand. People will come and say, "Ab women क्यों नहीं बना रहे? Ab kids क्यों नहीं बना रहे?" We have hardly scratched the surface. It's just we are into the 5th year of the business. We're still learning about the market. We're still learning about our customers. So if we just deviate ourselves and try to do 100 things, maybe we will be lost in our own vision and brand strategy. And once we understand completely and we are there, then we move to different verticals. Like we just launched apparel because we understood now that we can extend our story from what we are putting into the fabric, into the shoes. We can use the same fabric and build apparel and give that, make ourselves a responsible brand which is good for the environment. So we are slowly working towards it, but yes, we also have to understand that what our real vision is and what we stand for. Yeah.
But I'm sure it must be challenging, right, as you said, because there are a lot of people who kind of give you inputs, be it your clients, be it your mentors, be it advisors, that this is also what you should do, probably
Yes.
1 + 1, 1.10, whatever. But how do you see this as a journey? That I'm sure it must be difficult. That you're getting a lot of some kind of good response, also probably early response, and you want to get into it, but you decide no, let's stick to it, right? So how do you overcome all these? Because I have seen a lot of startups in early days, they tried too many things and then they flunk. And
Right.
to big times, and probably I will say they will fall on their face, right?
Right.
So how do you what advice you will give to you, the
So
people here?
we
Yeah.
have also tested the waters. कुछ products हमने launch किए and we quickly realized that this is not working out. So as he said that if we expand a lot, sometimes you fail within yourself. So what we have done is we have also cleaned up immediately.
About if everything that you did was going to be a hit, it would be fairly obvious. Unfortunately for us, it's not like that. So you need to sort of take the blows and do what you do. I think it's also important to sort of bring to bear your ability to discipline and stay focused, your ability to be disciplined about what you want to achieve and keep that in focus, right? Like, so we now have, sort of on the cusp of having some investors on board, and we already understand that investors have their own expectations, employees have different expectations, but the ones that matter the most are the expectations of the customers and your target audience, right? So I think in part it's about just having the discipline to stay focused as well.
So, you use the word blow. So I remember this Rocky movie in which he says that life is not about how hard you can hit, how hard
it's
you
about
can
how
take
you
hit,
can
and you can
get
stand
hit
up again.
and keep moving
and stand up
forward.
again. So I think this is
Amazing.
what startup founders' life is, right? So,
Yes,
so Zain,
like-
your thoughts? Sorry, yeah.
So exactly what General Dillo was saying in the morning.
Acha,
कि
okay, yeah.
टूटना, I'm forgetting the exact line, but टूटने से प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, टूट के गिरने से प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, लेकिन टूट के गिर के कोने में पड़े रहने से प्रॉब्लम है.
Wow.
Like
Very well
I'm
said.
completely messing this up,
No, that's okay.
but
We understood.
sort of
Zain,
paraphrasing
your
it.
thoughts on this? Probably, what's
Yeah.
your?
I think nothing more to add. Staying true to core, fail होने की ability रखना, and इतना fail नहीं होना कि business ही बंद हो जाए. So to be able to measure कि ये risk कितना नुकसान कर सकता है, right? If you can ascertain that, it is okay to experiment.
So what I got to understand, risk mitigation is important. First is I think, as you said, exploring and experimenting is also important, and accepting the fact that you have done this wrong is also very important, and then you have to put a hard stop on this. This is where we will. Yeah, correct. So take. Correct. So absolutely. So lovely talking to you guys. Anything you want to add? This stage and mic, everything is open. But I think it was lovely talking to you, and I'm sure everybody liked the insights on this. So thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, sorry, I'm so sorry. Anyone have any questions? Extremely sorry. I was in a hurry to close the session. I'm thinking about a Ashneer Rover.
Hello, sir. Hello, ma'am. Actually, a question comes to me when I was listening to you. I wrote it because it would be easy for me to speak. When the work scale up, for example, you're doing something and it scales up, there comes a time when you have X% of negative feedbacks and Y% of positive feedbacks. Now, as a founding or a CEO of a company, what is the best strategy to monitor all those feedbacks, which is the most important thing today? I guess so. Thank you.
हाँ जी बिल्कुल
आंसर चाहिए उनको.
ठीक है. सो एक नेगेटिव फीडबैक 100 पॉजिटिव फीडबैक के बराबर है. सो आप 100 पॉजिटिव फीडबैक के लिए जितना एफर्ट लगाते हो उतना ही एक नेगेटिव फीडबैक के लिए लगाओगे, देन यू विल बी सॉर्टेड. अगर आप एक नेगेटिव को एक पॉजिटिव से कंपेयर करोगे, वेरी सून यू विल बी आउट ऑफ बिजनेस. यू आर राइट. लोग आजकल देखते हैं अमेजोन के ऊपर रिव्यू क्या है, गूगल के ऊपर रेटिंग क्या है, ऐप स्टोर के ऊपर रेटिंग क्या है. तो नेगेटिव फीडबैक्स आई विल से इतने ज़रूरी हैं कि उसको इतनी वेटेज मिलनी चाहिए.
सर मेरा ये क्वेश्चन था कि जैसे आप फाउंडर हो, तो आप इतनी बड़ी टीम में से कैसे मॉनिटर करते हो पूरे दिन में, क्योंकि आपके पास सारे फीडबैक तो पहुंचेंगे ही नहीं. लेट्स सपोज वो आपकी मैनेजमेंट के किसी ऑर्डर में पहुंचे, सीटीओ के पास है या मे बी मैनेजर के पास है, और वो इतने लॉयल नहीं होते कि वो हर चीज़, जैसे मैं आपसे एक्सपीरियंस करता हूँ, मैंने कार ली थी हुंडई की, आई हैड वेरी रोस्ट एक्सपीरियंस क्योंकि मैनेजमेंट अच्छी नहीं थी. वो मैं एक अवेयर कस्टमर हूँ, इसलिए मैंने मॉनिटर खुद किया, उनसे बात की, और वो मेरी बात शायद मे बी टॉप जैसे सीईओ से ना पहुंची, तो उन्होंने तो मुझे लूज कर दिया. तो ऐसे आप लोगों के पास भी बहुत सारे फीडबैक्स आते होंगे, तो आप क्या स्ट्रेटजी अपनाते हैं कि आप छोटी मैनेजमेंट से सब चीज़ें रिसीव करें और चीज़ों को ट्रैक पे लेके आए? मे बी दिस इज द गुड क्वेश्चन.
सो हमारा फोकस हमेशा रहा है कि हमारी लॉजिस्टिक्स टीम एंड कस्टमर सपोर्ट टीम सबसे बड़ी रहे हमारे ब्रांड के लिए. बिकॉज लॉजिस्टिक्स क्योंकि हम शूज़ डिलीवर करते हैं, एंड कस्टमर सपोर्ट टीम क्यों, बिकॉज हम हर जगह बेचते हैं, तो वी हैव टू कलेक्ट दैट फीडबैक एंड वी वांट आवर कस्टमर्स that Neemans is available for you 24/7, and we literally track each and every review provided by our customer, whether it's coming on our website, whether it's coming on our marketplace, whether it's in the stores. We have special training for our support team, FCs, and we collect all the negative feedbacks, not the positive ones, so that we can improvise where we went wrong, because nobody is perfect. It's just how we are dealing with that response and how we are solving our problem which has come through our customers, whether it's a delayed in delivery, whether product फट गया 2 महीने में. We are ready to give you a new product. Anything can go wrong, because in the end we all are humans and we can do mistakes. किसी से भी गलती हो सकती है. तो we keep track of it and we are always on top of it. That's why when you come to our office, our customer support team is the largest, and we work on rotations 24/7, and every time Neemans is available for our customers. That's what we have tried to solve.
So I think I will give quick points to you. From my experience, Airtel वाले भी कहते बात करने से बात बनती है, right? So negative feedback is a part of process. It will come. कुछ भी करो. Sorry भाई, हिंदी मैंने पहले हिंदी बोली थी, बात करने से बात बनती है. सो एंड आई एम लॉस्ट इन माई थॉट्स. ओके, हाँ. सो नेगेटिव फीडबैक्स आएंगे. आई हैव नॉट सीन एनी प्रोडक्ट. यू गो टू ऐप स्टोर, यू विल फाइंड एप्स विथ 4.9 रेटिंग, 5 रेटिंग, बट उसमें भी नीचे जाओगे कहीं ना कहीं आपको दिखता है कि नेगेटिव फीडबैक है. सी प्रॉब्लम रेजोल्यूशन एंड प्रॉब्लम को किल करना में बहुत फ़र्क है, राइट? एंड if I have not seen anything which is so perfectly made जहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम अराइज ही नहीं हो सकती. होगी अगर आप प्रॉम्प्टली उसका रेजोल्यूशन दे पाओगे, देन ऑल्सो यू विल रिटेन द क्लाइंट. दिस इज वॉट आई बिलीव. जैसे आपने एग्जाम्पल दिया, बहुत अच्छी बात की आपने कि हुंडई टॉप मैनेजर, आप अवेयर थे तो आपने उनको मेल किया, व्हाटएवर मेल की, राइट? नीचे आई एम श्योर नीचे वालों ने इंटरेस्ट दिखाया नहीं होगा शायद आपकी प्रॉब्लम में, इसलिए शायद आपने उनको आगे मेल की, है ना? तो आई एम नॉट सेइंग दैट दे आर बैड इन प्रॉब्लम. ओके, ग्रेट. आई एम नॉट सेइंग. हाँ, होती है.
देखो मेरे माइंड में ये क्वेश्चन था, टू बी ट्रू, मैं दोबारा बोल रहा हूँ, सॉरी, बट कि एक जो सीईओ होता है वो इतने सारी चीजों को मैनेज कैसे करता है? बिकॉज नो वन कैन बी मोर इंटरेस्टेड इन द वर्क अदर देन द फाउंडिंग.
What he's trying to say is that at the lower level when they are getting the blitz? How does it act? मतलब आपके पास आता है नहीं आता है?
कैसे मैनेज
कैसे मैनेज
I think आपको आगे जाके जैसे I think स्केल बड़ा होता है, आपकी प्रायोरिटीज क्या है, आपको डिसाइड करना पड़ेगा, आप सब कुछ नहीं कर पाओगे।
हाँ वही
Correct.
एक कस्टमर का नेगेटिव फीडबैक आपकी प्रायोरिटी है तो आप सॉल्व कर पाओगे, नहीं तो नहीं कर पाओगे। अच्छा सिंपल है।
आई थिंक बहुत बड़ा फर्क इस चीज़ से पड़ता है कि आपने किस तरह के लोगों को हायर किया हुआ है,
Your talent, yeah.
आपने किस तरह के लोगों को हायर किया हुआ है और उनकी कितनी कंसंट्रेशन है इस चीज़ पे कि जो नेगेटिव फीडबैक है वो पहुंचे आप तक। ये बहुत फ़र्क पड़ता है इन चीज़ों से। आपका एक सिस्टम ऑफ एस्केलेशन क्या है, आप खुद एज अ फाउंडर कितनी बार जाके हफ्ते में या महीने में या दिन में अपने कमेंट्स देखते हैं, अपने रिव्यूज़ देखते हैं। फॉर अस एज थिएटर हमारा सबसे बड़ा चैनल है इंस्टाग्राम में जो कमेंट्स आते हैं वो खुद मैं, मेरा को फाउंडर्स, हम लोग जाके देखते हैं, बहुत बार जवाब भी देते हैं। द एफर्ट, द इंटेंशन इज़ टू कीप योर ईयर टू द ग्राउंड। एंड आपका सवाल सही है, ये करने इस तरह के काम करने में लैप्सेस बहुत आसानी से आ जाते हैं। सो यू नीड टू स्टे फोकस्ड एंड यू नीड टू मेक श्योर कि आप इसमें ये नहीं है कि आपने बस किसी को दे दिया और वो मैनेज कर रहा है। ऐसे आप हैंड्स ऑफ स्ट्रैटेजी के साथ आप ये नहीं सॉल्व कर सकते।
I would like to add one more thing. As he said, जैसे से scale करते हैं priorities different हो जाती है CEOs की and co-founders की. So at that level, what we have been trying to do, because we have also हम भी 2 employees से अभी we are at like 200 employees. So the team leaders who are managing different teams, how we are involved is we make sure that we have these leadership meetings with these core people who are heading these departments, so that we can अब हम obviously at the like ground level we cannot keep track of everything when you're all over the place, but हाँ वो leadership team के साथ of every department अगर हम touch base में हैं, weekly meetings या leadership hall town hall meetings, so हम उस तरीके से उसको track कर पाते हैं and then we get to know कि अच्छा out of all these negative ज़्यादा critical कौन से थे and how this leader of that department was able to resolve it and how quickly at what time frame. So उस हिसाब से we have been able to manage these critical things, because as a D2C brand, customer is our god. So customer ही नहीं रहेगा तो हम business कैसे चलाएंगे? So, sorry? हाँ नायक, one day CM.
He did all the work. वो बाजार में जाते हैं कि कहाँ चोरी हो रही है गेहूं की,
हाँ जी,
वो जाके देखते हैं। अगर एक सीएम तो सीईओ तो कुछ भी नहीं है।
अभी देखो एक सिंगल आदमी कहाँ कहाँ जाएगा। That's why you have to build the team and your team has to be really strong.
बट इन द ओल्डर टाइम्स दैट अकबर भी जब अब राज करता था तो हफ्ते में एक दिन निकाल के वही बाजार में जाता था
Correct.
कि गेहूं का रेट क्या चल रहा है।
हाँ जी,
वो कोई अपने कस्टमर, मतलब जो मेरे राज्य के लोग हैं उनको वो कैसे ट्रीट कर रहे हैं, खुद भेस बदल के जाना ही पड़ेगा। एक शायद हफ्ते में एक दिन, महीने में एक दिन या साल में एक बार जाना ही पड़ेगा।
हाँ जी,
सीईओ को बाजार में जाना ही
पड़ेगा।
क्योंकि अगर कस्टमर भगवान है तो मंदिर में हमें जाना ही पड़ेगा दर्शन करने के लिए।
Yes, absolutely right.
थैंक यू।
Sir, yeah, hi everyone. My question is, when launching a new feature or product, see, feedback system is very important, but sometimes customers hold up things to them. So if we go ask them what are the key questions or what are the key things to observe, so that is one way.
It'll depend on the kind of product, the kind of feature that you're talking about. There's a very very contextual situation. आप उस particular चीज़ के बारे में किन points पे feedback लेना चाहते हैं, आप आपके सवाल किस तरह से drafted हैं, वो बहुत, it's a very very contextual thing. For us at theatre, what we try and do is whenever we launch a new thing, we have a very structured way of doing proof of concepts and then scaling up. कि हम जो proof of concept करते हैं, एक तो we are not yet funded, so we are very very conscious of not burning money. तो हमारे ऊपर एक वो दबाव हमेशा रहता है that you can't burn money, you can't spend too much money, and you need to get a proof of concept at lowest possible cost. So when we do that, the intention is that if you don't capture all the right feedback from the customer, then anyways you will have not a complete validation of your product. So depends on a number of these things for us.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
So I think with this, we thank all of you for this amazing interactive session. And now I would request for you to kindly felicitate all our guest panelists. Guys, please give them a big hand. I think Thank you, Sahil. Thank you for being here and for your time. It was great listening to you. Thank you, Vikram. निकाल के दे दो. Guys, let's keep clapping. They were wonderful on the stage and they gave us some really good pointers to take away for your own businesses. Yeah. Kiranjot, thank you. Thank you so much for your time today. And finally, the key moderator and job well done. Thank you, Ganesh. Thank you so much. I would request all the speakers as well as the guests here to please move to the ballroom 5:30 for the closing session. You all were a great audience. Thank you so much. Hope you had a wonderful day.